to Satsang. Welcome to this meeting. For some of you who are new to this gathering, the way to participate whenever you have a question that you would like for us to explore, you can write it in the chat box, or you can simply speak it, and then we can go into it together. Keep in mind that whatever question you are asking may seem to be personal, and it's so amazing. So many times people share with me that somebody else is asking their question. So in a way, there is a sharing of the same question, although the impression is that it is my question. It turns out to be everybody's question, which is really, really beautiful. So this gathering and this non-dual teaching, it's a sharing. It's a sharing of truth, sharing of love, sharing in the magnificence of what we truly are. At some level, we've been living this imaginary me character, me and you, and trying to improve ourselves. Trying to become somebody, trying to achieve certain worldly goals. And at some point we come to the realization that there is a major flaw in this direction. The flaw being that we are mistaking ourselves to be a person, to be a character, to be a man, to be a woman. It is quite shocking to the mind to contemplate that what I truly am is not a form, is not a body-mind, and to really stand still in the face of such major revelation. So here we are in this exploration together. Please make sure to mute your mic. This is not an ordinary event. Being here together is an extraordinary event. It is not a gathering of social purpose. This gathering is a gathering that has a higher purpose, which is the revelation of our true nature. So welcome. I welcome you. Welcome myself. I recognize you as myself. I recognize the one consciousness, the one reality that we are, the reality that I am, this universal I. There is one I, the I am. Each one of us refers to I. It is this one I. Although there are many forms, many various forms, there is one I, one reality, one consciousness. So I welcome you to Satsang. I consider Satsang an interactive format. So if there are questions that you would like for us to explore together, please feel free to pause them or write them in the chat box. I don't give lectures or talks about non-duality except when it comes out spontaneously out of otherwise I am just in the contemplation with you around whatever questions you may have. So if there are any questions.
Mm. Mm. Hi, Magdi.
Hello, Ananda.
Ananda.
Hello.
I have something that I talked to you about maybe close to a year ago. It was one of the first times I talked with you. I had a property dispute,
Right, I remember.
and you know, I'm owed some $50,000, and the person just doesn't want to pay. And it was an agreement that was done in a simple and heartfelt way at the time, and the person feels that it's, you know, she doesn't want to part with the money. so when I think about getting into going into a legal battle, or putting pressure in various ways that I know that I can, I feel I've been feeling quite uncomfortable about it. And I did have a breakthrough on this issue. I mean, it's the kind of thing that would sometimes I'd wake up in the morning a little earlier than I meant to wake up, and it would just come to my mind, and I'd say, I'm not comfortable with this this situation. So what did occur to me was I didn't ask for it to be like this. Maybe it's a issue of letting go of the personal, the assumption of a personal responsibility in the whole thing. It's like the agreement was made, everything seemed right, and I was quite happy about it. And then, with the refusal of the other party to fulfill the agreement, it occurred to me that I didn't plan it that way. I didn't ask for this to be a problem, and that perhaps the natural thing is for the whole thing to unfold as it does, and so I'm looking for the true escape or freedom from distress over it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Ananda, litigation basically is your last option. You will be giving a bunch of your money to in the legal venue.
Yes.
And that will be coming out from the bottom line. So you want to look at other options. Hopefully there is some room for some conversation where you can arrive at some compromise. You have to be willing to be flexible, maybe even let go of your initial understanding, and see if you can reach a middle ground where you don't leave too much skin, on the table. So I don't know whether there is this possibility of interacting with the other party. You need to sort of present some invitations, make it clear that you're available for a compromise, you're available for some mediation, and go that route and stay with that. Whenever you feel that door is being closed in your face, just take a little moment to allow the dust to settle and try to renew the conversation again. Not from a place of feeling hurt, but from post those emotions.
Yes.
Sort of give yourself a little time to settle and keep your focus on some sort of compromise where the other person feels that they're being heard, that they're being understood. You can't know their initial intention. You really don't know if they claim that their understanding was different from what yours is, given that it's not black and white on paper, which is the way it is. You have to sort of allow for their point of view to be somehow heard by you. Hopefully they can also reciprocate and hear some of your point of view, and also get a feeling of your flexibility and your understanding that maybe there was a misunderstanding. Maybe you misunderstood what the agreement is. But even so, even if it's very clear for you that, okay, this person owes you $50,000, it's black and white, and you don't want to give 20 of them to your lawyers, see if you can work out 35 with them, or I don't know. I'm just throwing numbers.
No, I know. That's about reasonable,
right,
yeah.
Right. And so that's how I would say I would approach the situation, the swirly situation. Of course, at the same time, the universe makes no mistakes. So this is being presented to you. It's presented particularly to you, for you to navigate this situation from a broader place, from let's say an inclusive manner, to broaden your barriers, your boundaries, and so it's no accident. So step by step, do your best with it. Remain in the conversation. If things come to an impasse, maybe you can propose a third party to come and mediate. See how it goes. You don't know how it goes. But irrespective of what the end result is, what matters is how you are with it moment by moment.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm asking about, really. And that if I know it's a silly expression, not one I'd usually use, but if I have to play hardball with the person to recover anything, basically,
that would be my last resort.
But even if I do that, because it's been almost 2 years now, I'm considering that it'll be hard to. If I don't take action, it'll be hard to.
Okay. Well,
it might slip away, so to speak.
Yes, if you've already walked that walk, and you're at the point.
Mediation, and payment was agreed, and then it dropped off again. Mediation was already done.
Yeah. Well.
And even a therapist, a counselor for the emotional side of it.
At some point in time, you'll reach your end,
right? And
then you have to be willing to or drop it or go the legal route. And irrespective of where it goes, you just go. But it's really important to sort of remain as neutral as possible in the midst of your action. I don't mean just neutral, mean don't do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you engage, you know, a lawyer and you're pursuing that, you remain in your neutrality. You take actions out of, you make decisions out of, not out of your emotion, out of
Mm-hmm.
the clarity. This is the okay. This is the time to cross that bridge.
Right.
So
right.
hopefully you have the resources for the lawyer, and you put them aside, and you're willing to
Mm-hmm.
see those funds, because you know it's going to add up, and it will. You'd be willing to let them
Right.
go, if you know, whichever way it goes.
If I'm just going to get more frustrated by spending money on lawyers and still not getting a resolution,
Yeah.
then
Well, you know, the way the lawyers work is it's about pressure. You know, they so she'll have her lawyer, or he'll have his lawyer, and you'll have your lawyer, and they'll be sort of putting pressure on each other, and they're trying to break the other person's will in a way.
right, right.
And so you have to put the money in the lawyer's hands, so they can put that pressure and keep serving all sorts of documents, and making all sorts of requests at the court to keep the case moving forward.
Right. Well, that's actually, thank you. Actually, the practical side of what you're telling me is the clearest. Out of talking to quite a few people, that's probably the best comprehensive view of how it actually plays out that I've had.
Well,
yeah.
You know, now that whatever occurs, unfolds in our life is when we are on the path, even when we're not, and we're all on the path, really. Everybody's on the path. Whatever happens in our life is there is an opportunity for us to contemplate and to make decisions out of our globality, which includes saying no. Hey, you know, wait a minute. But it's not. It doesn't come from an emotional place. It comes from our wholeness. And so, like when it's raining, you grab an umbrella. Or you put on your trench coat when you go out, so you don't get soaked. You do that out of your intelligence, out of your understanding, not out of your emotions. So it's not a matter of loving the good weather and loving a sunny day and hating a rainy day. That's quite silly.
Yeah. Okay, that helps quite a bit.
Okay. Okay. Good luck, for you with this. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So there is really no separation. There is no separation in the waking dream, meaning our perceptions, thoughts, and sensations. They're not separate from the consciousness that knows them.
I was listening to Francis Lucille last night, some satsangs from Temecula, and he happened to talk about something very similar. He said, if someone takes my wallet, I'm aware that I took my own wallet. And when I go to the police and ask to get it back, I'm asking the police to go to me and get my wallet and give it back to me. It was really kind of humorous, but sounded very true.
I grew up. I have 5 brothers with 6 boys, and there are all sorts of dynamics between us. My brother taking some of my things and vice versa. But because my brothers, I love them so much. I feel like they're me. So like imagine that your brother is driving your car. Really, it's in a way, it's you driving the car. You see, so if you consider that at some level we are all brothers and sisters at the deepest, in our deepest beingness, we are one. That sort of it softens, it sweetens the dream. like really is not such a big deal. And what's amazing about living from that understanding is that the dream becomes sweet. Rather than finding people taking away your car, you will find people telling you, hey, do you want to use my car? That's how it works. You have to try it and see. There is a magical unfolding once you recognize the wholeness of consciousness, our wholeness, our oneness. There is a magical quality that arises in the waking dream and sweetens it. Of course, that's not how we live out of ignorance, out of the separate self. We live defending and hoarding and resisting and protecting and arguing and complaining and, you know, blaming. And so that's our experience. Our experience is that of isolation and danger and sense of lack and risk of being robbed and all these unhappy events in our life. They're part of our perception, part of what we sort of bring into the space once we believe that we are this person, that I am me and not you, that I am this body mind and not that body mind. So the identification with a specific body mind is a virus, is an infection that affects and infects the entire space. And so your experience is that of is an unhappy dream.
And when I look back, actually, in this case I've been talking about, I look back at about 2 years ago, and I see that I was quite triggered in different ways relating to this issue. That triggeredness didn't make for clear, solid communicate, you know, and that may be where the other person's different opinion, even though it's on paper, different emotional take on it all is.
Yeah, it takes two to tango, you know. Somehow we only are sort of listening to the wheels that are spinning here. We don't perceive globally when we are in the me identification. There isn't an empathy, there isn't an understanding, there isn't a communication, there is no clarity. But it doesn't matter what's behind. What matters is what's unfolding now, and how do we live what's happening now. Do we live what's unfolding now from the separate me point of view, or do we live what's happening now from openness, from intelligence, from clarity, including saying no, that's not, get off my foot. You're standing on my foot, and that's a no. You step back, and if you don't want to step back, then there are ways in which we can get you off my foot, hopefully.
Thanks. Great.
Okay. So if there are any questions.
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question.
Yes, hello. It is Kevin, yes? Hello, Kevin.
Yes, hi, Magdi. How are you?
Very well, good to see you.
Yeah, a shared consciousness is one. Do you believe that your thoughts, my thoughts, are shared in a way that's that we can know those shared experiences?
No, Kevin. Mind A cannot know mind B. In other words, right now I don't know what Inder in Calcutta is doing, whether he's serving chai or whether he's having a conversation with his mother, that mind, at the mind level, the mind is very sort of local. Like right now, I'm perceiving this screen here, I'm perceiving this living room here, and your perception, the images that are arising for you are different. Your desk looks differently, maybe a different screen, etc. So no, I do not know what is the color of the wall that is across from you, nor can you know whether it's a couch or a chair that's on the other side of the wall here in my living room. But think about the one consciousness. It is that same consciousness, the same consciousness that is knowing this perception, that's knowing perception A, and that is knowing perception B. But although it's the same consciousness that knows perception A and perception B, this does not mean that knowingness, that perception A can know perception B. So in other words, the question is, what is it that knows? Let's take a thought, for example. Okay, whatever thought you're considering right now, don't share it with me. Just choose a thought, okay? But don't share it with me. And I'm going to choose a thought, and I'm not going to share it with you. Okay. Now, right. You know the thought that has arisen for you, that's arising for you right now, and I know the thought that's arising for me right now. So the question is, what is it that knows that thought? It is I, right?
It is I.
I. Yes. It is I. Okay. Now, if you go to this I, and you ask yourself, what is this I that knows this thought? You are going to come, to make a long story short, you're going to come to consciousness. It is consciousness, whatever words, awareness, knowingness, the absolute, whatever. I use the term consciousness as the ultimate knower. Yeah. So consciousness knows this thought, and this consciousness, if you contemplate this consciousness, which means what we refer to as I, you will find that this consciousness knows the thought, but this consciousness has no form, has no shape, has no size, has no density, has no color, has no smell, has no dimension, no physical dimension. And that although it has no phenomenal qualities, this consciousness cannot be denied. Although it does not appear via the senses, it's not perceived via the senses, it's still, you cannot deny its reality. Yes? Are you with me? You with me on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now, so the next thing you can contemplate is that, wait a minute, okay, obviously there is consciousness as perceiving the thought, because without consciousness, that thought wouldn't even be. I mean, it wouldn't be. So there is consciousness, and this consciousness is what I am, because I am conscious of this thought. I am perceiving this thought. Then you ask yourself, well, what are the boundaries of this consciousness? So you can contemplate, well, where does this consciousness start? Is there like any starting point where it starts? Does it start 5 feet away to my left side? Does it start in the kitchen? Does it start 10 foot over my house? Does it start in my village? I mean, you ask yourself this question: where does it start? And you will find. I'm just moving maybe too fast, but anyways, just to go on. Yeah. You will find that there is really no starting. There is no starting point to consciousness. There's no point where you can say, oh, that's where it starts, you see? So given that you don't find a starting point to consciousness, then that means that there is no ending. There is no, if it has no starting, then it has no ending. So it has no dimension, yes? No beginning, no end, in a way. It doesn't start here or end there. So once you contemplate that, if you arrive to that contemplation and you just stay with that contemplation, That means this consciousness is real, because we already established that there is no thought that can appear without it. There is no perception that can appear without it. It's real, and it has no limits. So
Right.
Calcutta or downtown New York or LA or Honolulu, all of these appear in it.
I see.
It's not that it appears here it appears in New York, or and does not, it appears a little less or a little different in LA, or it appears differently it actually doesn't appear. What appears is the thought, what appears is an image, what appears is a perception or a bodily sensation. That appears and of course disappears because something else takes its place. 1 minute your toothache is gone, hopefully not too long. Next minute you're scratching your thigh or your knee or whatever. It's a different bodily sensation. That appears and disappears. But consciousness, it's not in that realm of appearing and disappearing, and yet it is the reality. You cannot deny it. If you deny consciousness, then you're denying the whole. You're denying all thoughts, perceptions, you're denying everything. So the reality, consciousness is real, and consciousness is not in a phenomenal event, and consciousness is not limited by space or time. It does not arise at 8 o'clock and end at 2 p.m. It is not more consciousness between 9 in the morning and noon, and less consciousness between noon and 6 p.m. It's not that way. It's not affected by time. It is totally beyond the realms of time and space. So if you stay with that contemplation in itself, it continues to reveal itself. But coming back to your question, I'm going to give an analogy of the electric grid. You see, there is an electric grid that's running into your house right now, and well, into your whole town or village or city, wherever you live. And that electric grid, Kevin, is fueling, the light bulbs in your office, in your kitchen, in your living room, and it's also feeding your refrigerator and your air conditioning unit, etc. So there is one grid, and there are infinite light bulbs and infinite various equipment that are fueled by that one grid. Now the light in your living room is lighting a couch, and the light in your office is lighting a desk. It is that one grid that is shining the light onto the couch in your living room, and that same grid that is shining a different light onto your kitchen counter or inside your refrigerator. I'm just using it as an analogy to
Good one.
to sort of get a sense of, in regard to your question about one consciousness and the infinite thoughts, infinite images, infinite perceptions, infinite sensations.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, Bhakti, like for instance, something will be invented or thought of in another country, and within days or months or years, that thought process comes to light in a different area, in another country or another person. It just seems to multiply quickly.
Yeah, I hope I heard your entire statement, Kevin. Yeah, consciousness loves to play. Loves to, sometimes it's really amazing. Like somebody comes and tells you, oh, gee, I was just thinking about, I don't know, like, going to the beach, and you say, I was just with you, and say, I was just thinking the same thing. Well, there are many instances, and for me it happens quite often where, Tara would be saying something, and I'd be just thinking that very same thing right then and there. As well, consciousness loves to play. If I knew every thought that you're thinking, or if I'm having a conversation with somebody and I know everything that they're going to say, and they know everything that I'm going to say, there'll be no conversation. What's the point? You go to a play. Let's say you go to a play and you know every line. What's the point of going to the play? After you go once, okay, maybe you go twice if they're excellent actors, but after the second time, you don't want to go to that play anymore. You want to go to a play where there is, even though you know there is going to be love and the drama and all of that, you've seen it a million times in different movies and different plays. You'd like to see a new version. You'd like to be surprised. You see, it's amusing. So in a way, consciousness loves amusement, loves to play. You see.
Yeah.
But also, what I wanted to share with you, just for me, is as you come to realize your true nature, as this sense of I, me, and not you, and I don't know what you're thinking or what you're doing, and so on and so forth. As that entire body sort of settles, because as you're contemplating the truth, it is the ignorance that sort of weakens and weakens and weakens, because truth doesn't augment. It's not like, oh yeah, now the truth is going to reveal itself. No, truth doesn't reveal itself. It's the ignorance that dissolves, and as the ignorance dissolves, truth already is. Our true nature, reality, already is. The magnificence of consciousness already is. It's as these shadows, these veils of ignorance dissolve, that the glory of the self is revealed. And as the glory of the self is revealed, you will notice more and more events of synchronicity and some magical qualities that just interesting. That's all. It's no big deal.
Lots of synchronicities for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Kevin. Yeah. Okay, sure. Thank you for your question. Nice talking to you.
You bet. Thank you.
So if there are any other questions, anybody that wants to explore anything that you're looking at.
Maggie, it's Dolores. Can you hear me?
Hello, Dolores. Yes, I can hear you. Hello, Dolores.
Hi.
Hey.
Well, I'm not too loud or anything, am I?
No.
I have earphones. Okay. Well, I was living in Baltimore, and I a week ago moved to Knoxville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And my decision to move, my parents live not far from Memphis, Tennessee, and they're getting older. And so I said that I wanted to move to be closer to them. And I did get a job down here in Tennessee. And I think part of my motivation to move was also because I was kind of angry at my other job for some treatment that I thought that I mistreatment. So now I've moved here to Knoxville, Tennessee, and I am feeling very sad. I lived in Baltimore for over 10 years, and I had a really good network of friends, and now I'm here in Knoxville, and wishing I was back there. And I do believe that my initial motivation to move was for my parents, to be closer to my parents, but and I just can't shake this feeling that I made a big mistake. And that's what the bigger picture, what's really going on with me. That's it.
Mhm. So Dolores, at the deepest level, there are no mistakes. All is perfect, perfect. It's complete perfection, complete perfection, complete perfection. Now, at the mind level, at the personal impression level, there are mistakes, supposed mistakes, so-called mistakes. So you need to contemplate, what am I? Because as long as you are a body-mind, you are separating yourself from the wholeness. And as long as you're separating yourself from the wholeness, that's the mistake. That's the original sin. And from that original mistake, there are further mistakes, other mistakes that follow. But if you trace any mistake to its source, you will find the core mistake, which is to believe yourself to be a mortal body-mind. This identification as Dolores, that needs friends, that needs a good job, that needs this and that needs that, or that's lacking these things. It's you keep in mind the highest teaching and live according to the highest teaching. Regret is a separation. It's a separating yourself as a person from reality. It's, of course, separation is not real, but it's an impression of separation. You need to go to your wholeness, embrace your entire experience. Open yourself entirely to what is happening now. Do your best with what is happening now. But above all, don't do it as a person. Don't do whatever you do to serve Dolores. Do only for the service of truth. Whatever you do it from your contemplation. Your contemplation is, what am I truly? Could it be that what I am is untouched and untouchable by the images that appear on the screen? Baltimore or Knoxville, Tennessee, or my mom or my dad or my friends and all of that. You see, you have to be really careful with the mind. It's very, very tricky. It will start by tricking you that you are Dolores. And therefore that you need this and that and that and that, and you should not have done this and that, and now you should do this and that, and you are in deep trouble when you buy into that, when you believe that, when you live as that. You're buying into the story, you're buying into the misery, you're buying into the separation, you're buying into the past and the future. Oh my God, why did I do that? The regret, the sorrow, the, going back over the thoughts. And there is no going back. There is no back. There is no going forward. There is no forward. There is just the wholeness of being, the totality of being, which is the limitless heart, love, beingness, beauty, the wonder of being, not being a woman, not being a man, not being somebody, not being a body. All of that appears to you and dissolves in you moment by moment. You are that to which all experiences arise without ever being touched by whatever arises. Like a mirror reflects all images without being touched by the images that it reflects. You are the peace, the beauty, the love, the happiness, the openness. You are infinite being. But if you consider yourself to be a woman living in time and space, then you are subject to regret, to sorrow, to anger, to all the emotions. Blaming, jealousy, regret, all the spectrum of the negative emotions will be your lot. And then you will be struggling to fix your emotions. And then you are in the emotion fixing business and in the feeling repair business. And that business is an unhappy business, and it's an unending business, because there is no end to the negative feelings and negative emotions. There is no end to the images that appear on the screen. Remain as that. Explore, open up to what's happening around you. See what is available. Where can the light of your vast heart, the vastness of consciousness, where can it shine? No matter where you are, see, explore what is available to out of the love, not out of a need. What do I need here? Oh, am I getting what I need here? What is there what I want here? Because you will not find it. You can go back to Baltimore and go to California and go to wherever you go. You will not find what the mind is looking for, because the mind is just looking to maintain itself. And it maintains itself by being a problem solver, so-called problem solver. But it's not just a problem solver. It is a problem creator and a so-called problem solver. It doesn't really want to solve a problem, because if the mind solves a problem, then it's out of a job. It wants problems. So there is a problem with where I am, there is a problem with, I don't know, name it, the weather, there's a problem with my neighborhood, there's a problem, you find a problem with the core contemplation, Dolores. And it's really beautiful that you know, it's a gathering of truth lovers. It's so beautiful. Is the contemplation of what am I truly? What is the reality of this experience? Is this the reality of my experience, of what I am? Is my reality an event in time and space? Or is my reality the reality of consciousness? I can only point you towards that direction, but you have to walk in that direction. You have to do your own exploration, because I can only speak in pointers towards the edge. You have to take the walk. You have to have the courage and take the dive into the reality, not into the mind. We all know the mind already. Goodness, this is not the first time that you look behind you and you regret. You know, we've been regretting our whole life. Yeah, I mean, you know, from the age of 6 or 7 or 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, we've been regretting. I regret this, regret that, should I have regret? We know regret. Give it up. Don't feed that beast. Don't feed that thought. Remain open. You never know. You may find yourself back in Baltimore. But don't go back to Baltimore out of regret. Okay? So you're open to more friends, you're open to friendships, you're open to relationships, you're open to companionship. So remain open to that. Why not? There are people everywhere that are open, that love companionship, that want a genuine hello from somebody. They want a genuine look from somebody, a genuine smile from somebody. It's all around you, you see. So spread the love.
Thank you, Maggie.
You know, yes, Dolores. Nice to see you, Dolores. Yeah, see how it goes, okay? Okay. There is no higher revelation than the revelation of truth. Our heart's deepest desire is to know yourself, to know your true self. There is no other mission in life but to know yourself. This is a golden opportunity for you to explore yourself, to find what am I truly. We all know the stories and the tales that we've been told. We were young and we said, yes, I am Mehdi, I am this, I am that. But now we are at the highest contemplation. We press the pause button on all our belief systems and we are contemplating what is the reality of this experience right now. And we are here as friends, and as friends we have a shared wisdom, we have a shared understanding that we are sharing, that what I truly am is this aware presence. It's not a thing, not a mortal thing, not a mortal body mind. It is what I am, what I truly am is presence, is beingness. It's beyond the mind. It's not something that appears. You recognize yourself. There's no higher recognition than recognizing yourself. Recognizing yourself is recognizing the divinity, recognizing the reality, the universality of consciousness. This does not mean that the world body mind is ignored. The world body mind is there. Look at the trees. They're there. They turn their leaves up to the sky. They're looking at the sun to get some sun. The roots are deep in the ground, looking to get nutrients. The rain falls, and the roots get the nutrients and feed the trunk and feed the leaves, and the leaves grow. It's all there. And at the body-mind level, that's happening. The body is breathing. The body gets hungry and says, okay, time to feed me. Thoughts come and say, okay, let me see if I can work as a banker, a carpenter, work in the store, or just to make money and feed the body. All of that is there. It's already there. That there is no need for the fear, the identification with me, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? No, there is an openness and a trust, living out of the openness, out of the trust. So at the body-mind level, it's important to bring in that understanding and to live life out of that understanding. The understanding that I am this whole, this consciousness. There is an order. There is in religious terms, they say there is a God that's taking care of the world, body, mind. There is an order. There is a higher order that's taking care of all of that. and it is what I am. There is no division between what I am and the world, body, mind. If you have any questions, it's best to contemplate these questions to deepen your understanding via your own questions, and not just via some talking that I'm giving. Michael writes, Ananda, I see you, you see me, reality sees itself. Yes, yes, there is only one true seer, Ananda. There's only one true seer, and that is I as consciousness. I perceive. We all refer to I perceive, I sense. This I is the I of consciousness. There is only one seeing and one seer. There are many images, varying images, but they all refer to the one reality, to the one grid. There are many different light bulbs, but they all refer to the one current, to the one grid.
You know, regarding what Kevin was asking about, you know, how the two different minds show up as separate, seemingly separate, there's something about the satsang here, being in contact with someone who is clear, completely clear about this, the one consciousness, that makes the apparent difference very minimal in importance, so to speak, to me.
Yes.
I'm just saying that the satsang, I can see the value in the satsang that way. It's like, I mean, that just occurred to me. That's one of its main functions is the so-called issues of me and other and lawsuits and love take their place, take the right place in this.
Yes.
In this.
In satsang, there is the verbal teaching and there is the silent teaching. The silent teaching is the presence, is the wholeness, and that is the bulk of the teaching, not what you hear via the senses. There is a silent teaching. It is the silent teaching that is operating below the radar. But coming back to the question that Kevin was asking earlier is, yes, please mute your mic. John, please mute your mic.
I'm trying to.
Oh, okay. I think I just muted your mic. I think I just did that. Thank you, John. You know, I know it's difficult on the first time to figure out how to navigate this technology. But in terms of if you look at your the fingers on your hand, so you could see that if you focus on the index finger, you don't recognize the pinky, yeah? But although those fingers are different fingers, they are the one hand, you see. And if you look at the hand and the leg, they are different in shape and size, etc. How they feel, etc. But as an analogy, the hand and the leg, they are the body. They are one in the body. If you look at the cells, if you take an electron microscope and you look at the cells, you will find that there are carbon cells and there are some, I don't know, iron cells and you know, iron stratas and some carbon, but they look different. They have a different composition, a different you know, layout, but they are part of deep part of the finger.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So in a way, as a metaphor, the infinite varying forms, various minds, thoughts, perceptions, sensations, are part of a whole, of the wholeness of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very difficult to really understand that from being identified as a body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, you have to sort of expand your understanding of yourself from being a body to being the awareness that right now perceives this perception.
Mm-hmm.
So the awareness that right now perceives this perception is not contained. It's not a form. It's not an object that is inside a container. You take, for example, you take some orange juice, you put it in a glass, because orange juice is a substance, is a phenomenal substance that you can put inside another substance, a glass container. But consciousness has no phenomenal form, yet it is real. It is consciousness or awareness that perceives this perception right now. You see? So in a way, you have to open yourself up to the reality of consciousness, which is your reality right now. And that this consciousness is not contained in any container. So that can expand your understanding, and then you can sort of start to get a sense that although there are infinite forms, all these forms are part of this one consciousness, but the consciousness is not part of any form. It is non-phenomenal. It's a noumenal dimension that is beyond the phenomenal. Like the dreamer is dreaming a million different forms and thoughts and characters, but is not any one of these characters or any one of these objects that are appearing in the dream.
Along the lines of using a body metaphor, it just occurs to me, from the body-mind point of view, the consciousness, it's hard to imagine that it's completely free, that it's complete, that's my nature and it's completely free and unbounded. And then from the consciousness point of view, the body-mind is like one eyelash that I'm not even aware of, maybe, in terms of its limiting. It has no limiting factor, and that's amazing to me. And that's I don't know.
You see, from the body-mind point of view, there is really no point of view. The body-mind is experienced, is known. Consciousness does not reside at the body-mind level. It resides beyond the body-mind. So the body-mind is an appearance, is an event in time and space. And in a way we say from the point of view of the body-mind, but I understand what you're saying, and I got you in point of view of the identification from me. From me, consciousness is a body-mind, and we cannot conceive of the infinity of consciousness.
Right.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because the limited or the form cannot comprehend the formless. The limited cannot comprehend the limitless. But step by step, through the contemplation, through our meditations, and through our love for truth, the mind comes on board. It starts to get it. Even at the mind level, at the thinking level, it starts to harmonize. It comes on board. It starts to sort of it senses the vibration, the subtle vibration of consciousness, and it starts to sort of quiet down in its bumpiness, and it starts to sort of harmonize itself with the wavelength of consciousness. And at some point, it sort of merges, it dissolves in the harmony of consciousness.
But I found it very interesting when you just said the body, mind, in fact, doesn't have a point of view. I guess it's an imagined point of view, like an imagined point of view of a flying elephant in a dream has a point of view.
Absolutely, maybe. Absolutely. You know, the point of view of the body-mind is like, yes, like the pink flying elephant in your dream that is thinking, gee, I would love to find a mate. I want her to be yellow with the red polka dots. And so, yeah, believing that the pink flying elephant has a point of view, a real point of view, is like believing the body-mind has a point of view. Yeah, that's it. I think you get it there.
Even my point of, even my point of view about this whole legal issue I was talking about is like, it's completely flexible. I could wake up tomorrow and say, I'm going to drop the whole thing. Or I could say, okay, I'm calling that lawyer and going for it. And it's just a point of view in a dream.
Yes, but you recognize yourself as consciousness, and that consciousness has this particular point of view right now about this particular situation.
Yeah.
And that this same consciousness has an opposing point of view in person B about that same situation that they perceive from their point of view. But
Yes,
still, you are part of your game. When you get on stage and you're supposed to play the infuriated husband, okay, and you get on stage, you're not going to play the role, you're not going to get up on stage and play the role of the hurt wife or the scared wife, right? You're going to get up and you're going to play the role of the infuriated husband.
Yeah.
But it's very clear for you that you are playing this role, it's part of the play, it's part of the unfolding.
Yeah, right.
But you know what you truly are. You know that you are neither the infuriated husband nor the injured wife or you are consciousness. You are, in the case of this metaphor, you are the actor. You are an actor. Your name is different. You're not Othello. You're Ananda. You know that, but you choose to forget that temporarily to play this role. But here in your particular case, you're choosing to play the role of the person that is owed these funds, but you play this role in the recognition that there is a certain order in this play, and that according to your understanding of the play, there has been a violation of this order, and so you are responding, you're taking it to the next step. But all of that is done impersonally.
And it would be foolish, and many times we are foolish, to only see it from this one character's point of view. That's the only way it could.
It is unhappy. If you're perceiving whatever you're perceiving from a personal point of view, it is unhappy because you have separated yourself from the whole. And as soon as you separate yourself from the whole, you are in time and space. And when you are in time and space, you are infected with the thorn of mortality and the concern, the me concern. What's going to happen to me? What's happening to me? And you take these concerns even in your dreams. You're dreaming, and there is the me character that's feeling feelings and having emotions, and is having worries and personal concerns.
Well, I hope technology improves a little bit more so that we can have your 3D appearance here in my living room. Maybe I'll see you sometime. I think it would be really a great thing. Thank you so much.
Okay. So if there are any questions, anybody who wants
Hi,
to...
Mandy.
Hello. Hello.
Hi. Nice
Hello.
to see you.
Yes. Okay. Hello. Nice to see you too. Hello, Teresa.
It's just so wonderful to be here. And I don't remember exactly what Ananda said, something about being here with you in the
Beautiful.
silence, the transmission, as well as the content. It's just so amazing. It's so such a gift. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yes. 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 Well, it's a gathering of oneness. It's a gathering of the heart, the one heart. Yes. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what I'm noticing lately is the extremes that can seem to happen in this life. Like a couple of days I was sitting in a doctor's office and contemplating, some serious decisions and waiting for the doctor to come back in, and then all of a sudden it's like totally popped out of the dream, and like the thought that comes is like, I love suffering, it brings me closer to God. And that I was curious about how pain, suffering, makes us grace prone, and it's like, and it's not lasting the extremes. They can seem so unbearable in the dream, but yet quicker and quicker the response time is like it's just coming back to just really, really wanting this only.
Yes. Yes.
Only.
Yes.
Like this is only all that's reliable and wonderful and beautiful and whole, and yet still appearing to play the game, getting lost, and then knowing that it's flat, it's cardboard, dream, just having tastes of the love, the heart, and how to I guess come to peace with just pretending that I'm the Teresa dream impressions a lot of the time. That
Teresa, so the situations that happen in our life that are difficult, in a way you could look at them as consciousness is pinching you. Yeah, like God is pinching you. He's telling you, hello, I'm here. Hi, hello, I'm here. You're forgetting about me. You're going out there in the world. You're pursuing, I don't know, happiness in a relationship or in a situation or in a world event, in fame, and so God pinches you. Pinches you, tells you, hello, I'm here. Hello, I'm here. And so it catches your attention, you see, because when we are pursuing our love, peace, and happiness in a worldly form, in a worldly object, in a way it's already jinxed, because worldly objects are constantly changing. They appear and they disappear. Bodies are beautiful one day, and now, oh geez, suddenly there is a white hair here, there is a pot belly here, and same thing with objects. After a while they start to rust, and what was shiny becomes less shiny. So when we are pursuing, our freedom and our joy and our peace and happiness in worldly events, we're moving in the wrong direction. And because we're moving, so to speak, away from God, away from truth, something needs to bring us back. You see? So at some point, boom, we bump our head into the wall. Ow! You see? Ow! And what's happening here? What's happening? You see? Or we fall, we trip and we fall, and what is happening? It catches our attention. So we ask ourselves, what am I doing? what's happening? So hopefully we get the message quickly. Yeah. So the pinch doesn't become more and more, you know, stronger and stronger pinch. So hopefully with a couple of small pinches, we get it. Realize, wait a minute, I am moving in the wrong direction. Obviously, I know deep down in my heart that I'm looking for freedom, peace, and happiness. You see, and then at some point we get it. Wait a minute, I'm looking for my personal peace, freedom, and happiness. And so that, in a way, I am limiting this freedom, peace, and happiness to a person. You see, so I am limiting the vastness of freedom, the infinity of love and beauty. I'm limiting it to a person. So as we start getting it, so wait a minute, is that the right approach? Is that the right approach? Could it be that what I'm contemplating, what my heart is really desiring, is really vibrating for, is a universal, is the love, beauty, and infinity of intelligence that embraces everything and everyone. So there is a contemplation that often through some suffering, through some pain in our life, through some disappointment, through some quotes unquote failures, etc., that turn our attention towards the contemplation. So the highest contemplation is, what am I truly? What is the reality? What is it that is real in my experience right now? And so we come to presence. We come to this oneness, a presence that is Teresa, Magdi, Kevin, everybody. That is one presence. With this one presence that has no name, and yet it's just utter beauty. So we come to that stillness, that love, that oneness, that wholeness, and there is a recognition. And there is a resting as that, a resting in that, and a complete surrender and an openness that's inviting everybody and everything to come to that. Everybody and everything to come to that, to rejoice as that, to recognize the wholeness of being. And so I surrender totally, completely, all of everything to that. And I invite everything and everybody and all of myself to that. It's a beautiful, beautiful coming home. And then I live as that. I recognize that over and over. There might be some habits in the mind to sort of go back to being Magdi, go back to being Teresa, go back to being Isaac, go back to being the person. There might be these tendencies, but at the same time, there is a recognition that there is this love and beauty that is completely impersonal, that's right here, eternal availability, eternal presence, that's eternally saying, yes, 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 come to me. Come to thyself, come to truth, come to love. It's an open invitation. It's an invitation letter that's being sent to everybody out of the one heart. Yes, out of the one heart.
Yes. Thank you. I have no words. There are no words, and just gratitude, deep gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
So beautiful. So
very beautiful.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Rejoice.
Yes. Oh.
Well, it's very beautiful to be with all of you tonight. Deeply grateful for your love for truth and your ongoing contemplation. We'll see you soon.